Welcome to My Lines, brought to you by Colin Boynton. For this latest episode of my poetry podcasts, the place where I share my world of words, I will begin with a piece I wrote after a train journey I made on my own. This piece is called Strangers on a Train. I don't know where she's from. I didn't ask her name. We sat together side by side, our stories much the same. Our journey wasn't very long, our stories started small. But as the stations passed us by, we told each other all. The roads that we both travelled were not that far apart. The stories that we both told were coming from the heart. Two hearts that had been broken, 4 eyes had cried in pain. We parted at our journey's end, to never meet again. My next piece was also something that happened on that same train journey and is called Conversation Piece. Half-heard conversations you hear whilst you're about. Things that needed doing, there's someone has a doubt. There's cleaning that needs doing, some grass that's needed mown. And someone has a photograph wanting to be shown. Someone's going walking, there's shopping to be done. Someone spent there yesterday, sitting in the sun. The TV was quite boring for someone else last night. Cakes that needed baking, some shoes are far too tight. These half-heard conversations, the fragments that you hear, can all be quite amusing when coming to the ear. This next piece is based on more observations I have made and is called Modern Man. Some people seem to lose their way whilst living in the world today. They do not seem to have a clue of how to be or what to do. They want it all and want it now. Don't even ask the question, how? Some people take but will not give. It's how they seem to always live. They do not even seem to care, and do not even want to share. They want the best and want it now. I ask the question, why and how? Some people live a life of greed, get given everything they need. They do not take the time to think, but take the time to smoke and drink. They get the best and get it now. It's time we ask them, why and how? Who remembers something simple like this? The next piece I have chosen is called Trilogy. 1. The birds were such a problem, eating all that grew. Left without an option, I had one thing to do. I had a cap, I had a sack, some clothes I never wore. I had some boots, I had some gloves, and lots of straw. I stuffed the trousers and the shirt, put the two together, filled the sack as much I could, topped with cap and feather. At last the gloves and then the boots, I nearly was complete. I made a face upon the sack, so now, please will you meet? 2. Mr. Scarecrow, tall and fair, I'm sure you will agree. Of all the scarecrows all around, he's the best you'll see. He won't say boo to anything, yet does his job real grand, just standing there and watching over all my land. No longer have I problems with birds and all their greed. They now go into next door's garden when they want to feed. Mr. Scarecrow, tall and fair, is such a jolly chap, but now and then I notice a robin on his cap. He's out there in all weathers, in wind or rain or shine. At times he's looking weary, and yet he's doing fine. I really like my Scarecrow. He's such a loyal friend. He guards my garden very well. Our friendship will not end. And Mr. Scarecrow, tall and fair, he's been here for a year. I talk to him most every day. I know he lends an ear. He listens to my tales of woe and never once complains. And just like me, I'm sure he has his little aches and pains. Some people think I'm crazy, or just a little mad. But Mr. Scarecrow is for me the best friend I have had. 3. I went to bed last evening, the weather getting bad. Heavy winds and lots of rain, the worst that we had had. I lay there in my bed and shivered, glad to be inside. But when I rose that next day, my heart sank and I cried. The sight I saw was hard to bear, no matter how I tried. Mr. Scarecrow laid out flat. I knew that he had died. I ran into the garden to see what I could do. Alas, my friend had passed away. I hoped that he just knew how much that he had meant to me and just how much I cared. So there was just one more thing to do because of all we'd shared. My final piece this week is simply called Young at Heart. Some people say I'm young at heart. That isn't all that true, for when I left my teenage years, I took with me my youth. I've kept it all these years now, which may seem rather strange. I may be growing older, but don't intend to change. I'll try and be responsible and do the things I should. I'll try and do some other things, if only I just could. My body might be slowing down as I am growing old, but my brain keeps going just as fast and still remains quite bold. It makes me do the many things I know I shouldn't do. They say that I am young at heart. My head and brain is too. If any of you would like to contact me about my words and leave me comments, I would certainly like to hear from you. I hope you've enjoyed my choice for this week's episode. The books I've written are available either from myself or direct from my publishers. For more details, see my website www.collinscorner.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you'll join me once again next time for another episode of My Lines.